Hi, Dr. A.
Hey, Clay. How you doing this fine afternoon?
Fantastic. I might have to zip out for like 2 minutes to
Oh,
get
yeah,
get the food out of the oven so I could feed the childrens.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. No
They's
problem.
gots to get feed.
Well, that's what they say. I don't know.
Hey, how you doing this fine afternoon?
Fantastic.
Like the coloring of snow on a winter's night. Ooh, glistens and sparkles in the moonlight. Yeah. That's right, folks. Live music brought to you by Via Fundamental.
Hey,
Hey, Gomez.
hi, how are you guys?
Doing well, thanks. We're just waiting for Miss Fabiola and Miss Rocio Rios, excuse me. Dr. Steve,
Dalia. hmm
people to show up and we'll get started. How are you doing today? Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We did a Black Lives Matter task force, so we're having circles with the young people on Friday. So it hasn't changed my screen from Friday.
Beautiful. Very powerful. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to see it. Just as a reminder to everybody, we are streaming live on YouTube. I don't know if anybody caught the story last week about the unfortunate incident in Oakley Elementary School District up here in California, um, where exactly this kind of situation was going on. Except it wasn't school side council members; it was the board of governors, and they didn't think they were streaming, and so they started having a off-color conversation. Needless to say, the very next day they were all summarily they all just resigned. So um, just just a good reminder for us in this weird new world to that we are streaming and we are live. We are live. Oh, here comes Miss Rios. And here comes Miss Nunez. Great news.
Hi,
And
everybody.
Clay is jumping back in. Hi there, Miss Rios. Welcome.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get rid of my kid's name on my
I can
Zoom.
take care of that for you.
Thank you. Because I have about like 15 different Zoom accounts because of Taekwondo.
I
And I don't
see.
know which one I'm logging into. And I'm like, oh, apparently I am Spencer Clay on many of them.
You're lucky you're not a cat.
Right. Which I think is really sus because if I was a cat, like that's totally what I would say to throw them off. Like, oh no, I'm not a cat. I'm a lawyer. I really am.
It wasn't that so funny? A lawyer saying, I'm not a cat. Like, we won't know any better. That was so funny. I mean, he has a Juris Doctorate and he has to clarify that he's not a cat.
I'm not a cat. I assure you I'm here live. I'm like, yeah, sure you are. I know this trick. I'm a teacher. I know when kids do stuff like this. No, I assure you I'm not a cat. I'm a 7th grader. No, you're not. I know this. You're really a cat. But yes, thank you for changing my name, sir, because it was stressing me out to see my kid's name up there.
I hear that. I hear that. And and nowadays, this is our classroom, right? This is how we represent ourselves. That's why when I saw Ms. Gomez, when she had her, when she has her backdrop up, it's an expression of her values. It's an expression of her organization's values, and so I hear you. We gotta get that camera, get that look right. So it looks like Dr. Cicada joined us as well. Just a reminder to everybody, we're streaming live on YouTube. And we're waiting for Ms. Corona. I think you all know she is the chairperson, and she did confirm she'll be here today. I think Mr. Sanchez is reaching out just to see if she's coming on as well. In case you don't know, the agenda, of course, is posted on our school website. It's also streaming live. Let me get a link for you, and I can put that in the chat pod if you haven't checked out today's agenda. How are you, Ms. Nunez? Very nice to see you, ma'am. Just as a point of order, I know that Mr. Velasco might be running a little late this afternoon, and also as a point of order, Mr. Gonzalez is not going to be able to join us today. He sent me a message this morning saying he won't be here. Hello, Ms. Corona. Welcome, welcome.
Hi. I apologize.
Oh, no, of course. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for coming on. With the chairperson here, I think we're able to get started. Ms. Corona, would you like me to facilitate the meeting today? Would you want me to go through the conversation and go through the agenda?
Señora,
Okay,
si va a querer, va a querer que el doctor empiece la reunión.
¿A quién falta? Disculpe.
She's asking who else is missing.
At this point, we're missing Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Velasco.
Nomás faltan dos. Corona.
Si quiere mejor los esperamos.
Oh, and also, pardon me, sir, we're also 3 students, pardon me.
Y 3 estudiantes también.
Oh, sí, sería mejor si los esperamos.
She says that we could wait.
I just wanted to say that I might step out at 3:15 and I'll be back at 3:30.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you know.
Disculpa, a los que estamos esperando, avisaron que van a poder entrar tarde o no han contestado, porque ya son las 3:16.
Dr. A, Ms. Corona is mentioning, have they been made aware, the people that are we still waiting for, or they have not responded?
Yeah, no, they've all been made aware. We've received notice from Mr. Velasco that he'll be late a little bit today. We also received notice from Mr. Gonzalez that he won't be attending today.
Entonces, ya todos fueron notificados. El señor Velasco mencionó que iba a llegar tarde y el señor González dijo que no iba a poder asistir.
Nothing from the students.
Pero nada de los estudiantes.
Ok, pues sí, podemos empezar para ahora sí que agradecer a las personas que están a tiempo.
Ms. Corona says that we can start and just thank the ones that are attending.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Corona. I appreciate it. Thank you. So as part of calling everyone to order, just want to take a moment to introduce you to Ms. Denise Clay, one of our science, not only our science teacher, but our science department chairperson. She's joining the council today as a representative of the teachers. So as far as approval of previous minutes are concerned, as you all know, the minutes are currently posted on our school website. I'm not sure if you all had a chance to review it yet or not, but for quick reference, I'll put the link in the chat pod, and then we'll take a quick vote to make sure that we're all in agreement that what was said last time is in fact what's on the minutes. The link is now in the chat pod, and again, it's also available on our school webpage, www.seusd.us/via.
Entonces ahorita se está mencionando que ahorita van a poner los minutos para nomás para probar que todo lo que hablamos la última vez, que todavía estamos siguiendo a pie con lo que mencionamos en la última plática con la consejería.
Is there a motion to approve previous meetings minutes?
The link is not in the chat yet.
Oh, it's not? So sorry, I thought I pasted it. My apologies.
I'm not sure, but it's still not in the chat. I'm not sure.
Same.
It's just me.
No, I don't see anything either.
Let me try it again. I don't know. You knew it might be happening. I could, if you just give me one moment, see if I can fix it. Oh, let me see. Sorry, I was sending messages to the waiting room. My mistake.
Ahí están los minutos que acaba de mandar el director para que lo podamos ver.
Can I motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Clay motions gives the second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Dr. Sakita, we got to see your kid. Oh, there she is. Great. It's unanimous. Everyone says it's a good thing. Thank you. Motion passes. Item 3 is public input. There is no public input requests have been submitted to anyone. So we move on to item number 4, which is a general planning discussion for the single plan for student achievement. So as you all know, this is the primary responsibility of the Title I Council is to provide insight and input in to basically develop the Title I compensatory education plan, which is basically, as a reminder, the plan that we have to support the students that have needs primarily based on their academic achievements, and in some cases also based on economic needs as well. So we thought in the spirit of doing exactly what it is that the responsibility of the Ms. Elizaradas, I'm sure you can summarize quickly. I won't take too much longer here. I'm just basically saying that we need to have a conversation about the SPSA. We can talk about the items that are up on the agenda there. But the bottom line is that today we need to have a conversation about what is it that's working, what we want to do when it comes to meeting the the needs of the kids that are at most risk. Just give Mr. Elizararas a moment to capture that.
Ok, entonces básicamente lo que está haciendo el director ahorita es de que quisiera platicar en cuanto a la planificación de SPACA, a la plan de educación de compensatoria. Quieren ver qué son los planes que se puede hacer para ayudar a los estudiantes que están en riesgo, en alto riesgo. Eso es algo que quería platicar con todos ustedes esta tarde.
So to kick off the conversation, I would ask perhaps we can have a discussion, especially since we have several of our teachers here. Well, hopefully we'll have a few more joining us. But also to get the perspective of some of our parents as well as to see. So when it comes to the interventions that we're using on our campus, how are we thinking we might want to change things, if at all? We might not want to change anything at all. But I'm talking about interventions in general. I'm not talking specifically. I'm just saying, generally speaking, how do you feel about the various interventions that the school is providing? Because we've got a great reputation for the interventions that we're providing. And at this point, it's just incumbent on us to talk about how we can make it better, in my opinion. So, Jaime, do you mind? Just
El director está mencionando en cómo es de qué es lo que podemos hacerle como escuela para mejorar la intervención que se está proveyendo a los estudiantes. Obviamente ya se ha escuchado de que muchas personas están mostrando qué positivos son las intervenciones que se están mostrando, pero aún está mencionando que quiere ver qué es lo que en qué podemos mejorar en estas intervenciones.
So, for example, one of the interventions that we provide for our students at VIA is we provide access to a system called MobiMax, right? And I know Ms. Nunez is intimately aware. Ms. Clay used it, and the feedback that we've received from the department chairpersons, based on what the kids are telling them, is that the students seem to be really engaged and interested, and seem to be responding to the use of MobiMax. What say you, Ms. Nunez? What say you, Ms. Clay? Dr. Cicada?
I know that from my perspective, many students do like engaging with it. There are ways for teachers and individuals to like reward virtually, like through game-based, or they earn little certificates and stuff like that. So that's motivated some students to continue to engage at their own time. And I know that the fact that it has various subject matters also helps promote students to engage with things that are interesting to them. If there's a science topic, they can explore that, or a social studies topic, not just math and ELA.
You mind repeating that in Espanol, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So el programa de MobiMax, por experiencia, sé que muchos de los estudiantes sí están disponibles a tratar de utilizar ese programa. Una de las cosas que miro que trabaja muy bien es que ellos pueden explorar algún tema que ellos tengan interés, no nomás específicamente de matemática o lectura, sino también tiene lecciones de ciencias o de historia que está en veces muy interesante para los estudiantes que exploren. Otra cosa es que también los maestros que están monitoreando el tiempo que los estudiantes tienen puede dar como motivación, porque están dando premios virtuales como más tiempo para desbloquear un juego o agarrar certificados basado a los que hayan completado en el programa.
Have either of the parents that are joining us today seen the system MobiMax, or have they seen their child using the system MobiMax? You have, Ms. Gomez? Do you mind sharing with the group?
Yeah, I have. I've seen them only with one of the teachers, but it's not something that's like super hard for them to do. I think it's pretty quick. It doesn't seem like it takes a lot of like effort or critical thinking or anything like that. So, I mean, it's good, but I don't know how. I guess Miss Crystal brought the incentive thing that I didn't know about.
You mind saying that in Espanol for Ms. Corona?
Sí, preguntó que si yo sabía del programa de MobiMax y si ha visto a mi niño que hace MobiMax. La verdad es algo que hace muy rápido y como que no es algo muy difícil que ellos hagan. Al principio no lo entendía muy bien. Ahorita la señora Cristo Núñez dijo de que era también incentivos y dan certificados y pueden agarrar como diferentes como incentivos para ellos. Entonces ya es cuando más o menos entendí un poquito más. Porque al principio es está haciendo algo que dura muy poquito tiempo, cómo es beneficiario, pero ya lo entendí.
And just it might be beneficial for parents to know there are resources that the students can also engage with. It'll tell them their focus time, and it'll calculate that for the student, but also for the teacher. And it helps fill in gaps, or first identify if there's any gaps within the content area. And then they have lessons at their own pace that they can master over time. Nice. So it's been beneficial to help monitor and we can pull up reports about the student.
You mind in español, Ms. Núñez?
So, yes. Algo que agregué sobre el programa, sé que los estudiantes pueden utilizar ese programa para primero poder identificar si hay algunas cosas que les faltan de cada año académico, y después cuando se identifica esas cosas que están perdiendo, como restar o sumar, ellos pueden agarrar lecciones a ese nivel y practicarla a su paso, y pueden repetir la información hasta que demuestren que proficiencia en ese detalle.
You know, in thinking about the comment that Ms. Gomez made about how it's not really I don't think she didn't say it's not engaging. She was just saying it just doesn't really call for higher level thinking, higher level reasoning skills. And you know, I think it's such an excellent observation, because that's the exact kind of thing that organizations do, that basically puts kids that are in need really at even more of a disadvantage, right? They approach giving them content not from the standpoint of what they need, but just to keep them happy, just to make it something that they can easily digest. But I can tell you that in context of the decision that our Title I committee about 2 or 3 years ago made, the decision behind it was more along the lines of, this is an intervention curriculum. That is to say, the idea is to kind of say, okay, you need help with stuff you should have learned in the 3rd grade. Right. So rather than going in and creating some sort of, an involved, for lack of a better term, perhaps a more critical, an opportunity for the kids to apply their critical reasoning skills, what they're doing is giving the kids an opportunity to be able to make up some of the skill sets that they may have missed. And the easiest and fastest way to access that is through fun, or through some sort of some thematic approach. So I don't know if that makes any sense. And I don't know if Jaime can translate all that stuff, but see if you can catch it, man.
Wow, what a whirlwind. Entonces, básicamente, nomás para resumirlo, básicamente lo que estaban mencionando ahorita señora Gómez y el director Aes, en cómo es que básicamente lo que ayuda a este sistema, el MobiMax, es en cómo es que se puede ayudar al estudiante, no nomás simplemente usar su pensamiento crítico, sino para que también incluso lo que a lo mejor no hayan podido absorber en el pasado, sea como un recordatorio, algo que les pueda ayudar para que ellos se puedan, no reconocer, perdón, nomás para refrescar la memoria otra vez en cuanto a lo que ellos habían aprendido algún momento en el pasado, pero a lo mejor no le captaron al principio, pero ahora cuando ya hacen esto, ya como que, que ya le estoy agarrando la onda, ya estoy entendiendo, y entonces ya, así es mejor. Ese es el propósito más o menos de lo que se está haciendo con esta aplicación.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Cicada mentioned, in an exchange that I've had with her about the potential of having an extended school year, especially for students that are most at risk. Do you mind, Anissa, maybe sharing a little bit of what you think we might be able to do with Title I programs to facilitate some support for those kids?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'll try to go slow, Jaime. So a few years back, and I've been considering bringing it back this coming year, we offered an extended school year for our most at-risk students.
Yeah.
And what
I
are you
was,
writing?
I was literally writing everything down and like, okay, got it. Dice que la directora acaba de comentar de que ella es algo parece que se ha hecho en el pasado y quiere implementarlo otra vez. What did you call it? An extended, what did you say? An extended
school year.
School year.
Un año, extender el año escolar, especialmente para los estudiantes que están en alto riesgo.
Yeah, so what we did is we invited students that showed that they had some I guess learning gaps in math and English to join us for the month of June, because typically we get out in May. So we extended the school year by 1 month, and we selected a handful of teachers that were not only willing to teach it, but also had the skills that we were looking for in teaching, basically remediating their subject matter, so that we could bring these students, as many of these students as possible, up to grade level.
Entonces, lo que acaba de comentar y que se hizo una invitación previamente, típicamente porque terminamos como en mayo, empezamos, lo extendieron para junio, para poder ayudar a estos estudiantes que están en alto riesgo, especialmente en las materias de el arte del lenguaje y la matemática. Entonces, seleccionan los estudiantes, piden a algunos maestros que puedan ayudar, que tengan las aptitudes más eficientes para poder ayudar a los estudiantes para que puedan por lo menos sacarlos de ese círculo de alto riesgo a ponerla a nivel, para que así más o menos se les pueda dar el apoyo que necesitan los estudiantes.
So to clarify, Dr. Sequeira, is the idea here that we would use Title I funds to basically create our own via summer school?
Yes, it is. And that is what we did a few years ago as well. We invited, if memory serves me correctly, about 100 or more, 110 each for English and math. And, parents have to opt in for their child. We can't mandate it because intermediate school does not provide summer school. So we, I think we had about 80 students participate in each out of the 110. So not bad. I think in general, students that were committed and they did come every day for those 4 weeks did show growth. And most remarkably, I'd say 2 to 3 years growth in their reading skills and in their math skills. And students could only participate in one or the other. They couldn't be there for English and math.
So, entonces también la invitación se hizo como para 110 estudiantes, 110 para cada materia, pero parece que la directora mencionó que el estimado que llegó, los estudiantes fueron como 80 para matemáticas y 80 para artes del lenguaje, para esas 4 semanas. Obviamente porque no hay escuela de verano en la secundaria, por eso se hace este arreglo de extender un mes más, para que así los estudiantes se les pueda dar la ayuda que necesitan en esas 2 materias, y dicen que lo que han visto ven el crecimiento de 2 a 3 años, lo que ellos han podido, debido a que se le ha dado este tipo de apoyo a los estudiantes.
Any discussion or considerations, questions, observations? To be clear, Dr. Sequeira is discussing the use of Title I funds to bring back some teachers, put together a program that we've done in the past. It's been very effective, in my opinion, at least. Maybe I'm certainly biased because I kind of like the school, but I will definitely say effective. And given what's happening right now with COVID, and we know that the kids are falling behind across the country, seems to make sense to have ESY. Please.
Is it something we can motion to approve? Not.
We can when we create the SPSA, the Single Plan for Student Achievement, we can include that in the SPSA, right? And then when you guys approve the SPSA, then it'll already be in the system. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like a proposal currently, although it can be. If Dr. Sequeira would like to propose it, it can't be at this meeting, but at the next meeting, I think we can propose it. Am I wrong, boss? Is that we can play it that way, correct? If the committee agrees that the SY makes sense, we can just make it part of the SPSA. Maybe she's gone.
Yes, we can. I guess what I'd like to hear, or the reason I'm bringing it up is as we get closer to the end of the school year, and the reality of students either not coming back this year or coming back in August, is going to be that we need some real interventions in place. And I'd like to get a head start, if we can do that this summer. But of course, there are still a lot of unknown factors. We don't know if we would be allowed to offer this in person, and would it be virtual? And if we are still virtual, is it worth it? How much of a response we're going to get from students, and is it going to be effective? So all items for us to consider, but I would like for us, I just would like to know from this committee if it's something that you would support in us allocating some money toward offering this program.
Dr. Sakeda, I had a question. So is it other programs also, intervention programs, or just this like the one and that's it? Does that make sense?
No, can you clarify, please?
So you are talking about the extending like the school year for at-risk students?
Yes.
And that's a great program. Are we also going to offer other intervention programs, or is it just the program that you've had in the past?
You
want to go ahead, Jaime?
Yes, Ms. Gomez, absolutely. So right now we're specifically, the conversation is about intervention programs in general, and we have like 70, exaggerating a little bit. But specifically, Dr. Sakeda is referring to extended school year, which is just a fancy term for summer school, as another intervention, not to replace our interventions, because we got other things that we're doing. There's a series of in-class interventions, series of district level interventions that we have in place. We have a series of socioeconomic learning interventions that we have in place. But this is a specific effort to try to shore up the fact that the kids have, basically been online schooling all year long. Am I correct, Dr. Sakeda? Is that the spirit of what you're saying?
Yes, it is. I was waiting for Jaime to interpret, because I think we've moved along quite far for him. And I promised I wouldn't do that.
I was like, okay, guys. Okay, entonces, señora Corona, la directora está mencionando, incluso, como dijo la señora Gómez y el director Azargase, que esto no va a reemplazar otra intervención, es una adición, nomás para simplemente extender el año escolar debido de cómo es que todo en sí, todo el distrito ha sido afectado por esta pandemia y especialmente en el aprendizaje, pero es algo que ella quería platicar con todos nosotros, con ustedes, perdón, para ver si todos podemos estar concordar, así para hacer una propuesta para la siguiente reunión, si están dispuestos a poner algunos fondos para establecer este arreglo que la directora está mencionando que se puede hacer.
Mi pregunta mía era si es nomás el nuevo programa de extensión de verano, o si es que también van a proponer más programas de prevención de lo que ya tienen. Pero no sé si me contestaron mi pregunta. So I'm not sure if my question was answered in regard to, are we also thinking of funding other programs, like intervention programs?
Yes, we are. We're just starting the conversation. And we're starting right now with talking about, so we started about Moby Max. We said, hey, does that sound like something we want to keep? We want to continue. We're considering this ESY summer school opportunity. And there's other ones too, Dr. Sakeda was considering. And again, if you take a look at the agenda that's been posted, we will also want to talk about, what happens with if we do have to provide interventions online, right? There's the conversation is not only about what interventions are we providing or not providing. It's also going to be, how do we deliver these interventions? Are they even going to be effective if it's only going to be online? Which it isn't. I know there's going to be a lot going on here. You want to try that, Jaime?
Sí, entonces también incluso la razón por la práctica es porque, como ya se mencionó, quieren usar todas las intervenciones necesarias, pero también una cosa que tenemos que tener en mente es de que no sabemos cómo vaya a funcionar debido a que estamos en esta pandemia. Si toman ciertas intervenciones, va a ser efectivo, y eso es la plática que todavía está al pendiente para saber qué es lo que se puede proporcionar a los estudiantes para que así ellos tengan un aprendizaje con éxito.
Yo tengo una pregunta. Bueno, dos. Una sería, más que nada, ahorita estamos tratando de ver cómo es que se van a hacer un programa para apoyar a los niños, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que estoy entendiendo. Pero la principal de esto que yo quería preguntar, ahorita no se escucha que se vayan a abrir las escuelas. Entonces vendríamos siendo, hacer un programa depende porque los niños siguen estando en la casa y sigue habiendo problemas. Y te lo digo a nivel personal porque precisamente a mi hijo se le descompuso ahora el Chromebook y para mí es bien frustrante, de verdad. Ahora me imagino para las mamás, ¿no? Entonces, esa sería más que nada, si vamos a hacer un plan que sea determinado pensando en lo que que los niños no están en la escuela. Porque yo ahorita de verdad ando súper confundida, ando ahorita escuché lo que me entrevistaron, que los niños tienen que tener tutoría, que, o sea, es mucha la información y es muy poco lo que yo veo. Entonces, o sea, ando así como un poco, ahora sí soy nueva en esto y estoy tratando de entender. Por eso es que hago esa pregunta.
So Ms. Corona is mentioning how is it that how can we implement, if we do go forth with these interventions, how can we implement them in the way that we're doing it now, like with this whole pandemic? Because she's seeing how there's so much frustration going on, and the effectiveness of it all, and that's something that she's really concerned, especially right now that we're closing the school year too.
Yeah, and that's really why I bring it up with this group, not just because I want you all to agree that it's important and we're going to do this great thing for our kids, but I want to have a very real conversation about it's my job as the principal to plan for all scenarios. And so I want to be prepared and plan to offer an extended school year if we all agree that's what's good for kids, and we can. But I want us to also have a conversation about what if our district office, what if Santa Ana says, no, you cannot offer this in person, and then what is our decision at that point? Do we not have extended school year? Do we have it, but it's remote? And I understand kids are tired of it. They're burnt out. As parents, I think we are too. I know my two kids at home still are driving me nuts. So I want us to have a collaborative conversation about what it looks like if we're remote, what it looks like if we can come back in person. Can we do anything? Do we have to just wait until August when we come back? If it's that long, we don't know for sure, but I have to prepare for that scenario too. I want to know what you guys think.
Sí, entonces, señora Corona, la directora está mencionando de que precisamente por eso es que quería tener esta plática, para ya empezar como colaborar las alternativas. Si en caso que el distrito diga, si por ejemplo estaba mencionando, si quieren hacer extender el año escolar, pero le tienen que decir al distrito si lo aprueban, pero la única manera viene siendo que tiene que ser en persona, y dicen no, ¿cuáles son? Y eso es lo que ella quiere preguntar, ¿qué otras alternativas podemos hacer si en caso que algo nos diga no, o mejor trátale aquí o vete para allá, así para que ya empiece a formar el fundamento para así ser más efectivo ahorita que todavía no termina la escuela, así para que cuando termine ya tengamos algo establecido más o menos para poder empujar hacia adelante.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Is there other either fundamental, junior highs, or that you know of, Dr. Sakade? I don't know if you guys have like principal meetings that you guys discuss, that somebody's doing a program that maybe we're not doing that we could adapt as well, that you know of?
No, not at this time. I mean, yes, we have those meetings. Yes, we collaborate regularly. Nobody seems to be doing anything any different. In fact, I would venture to say in comparison, VIA is probably offering more supports and interventions for our students than the others, especially the other fundamentals. I mean, we are proud of the fact that VIA does provide significantly more support than the other fundamental schools.
Thank you.
That, Jaime?
Yeah, that answered my question.
Okay. Entonces, lo que está diciendo ahorita la directora, era si habla, perdone, si la señora Gómez le preguntó a la directora Sequeira si ha platicado con otros directores de las otras escuelas fundamentales, si ellos están usando un tipo de intervenciones que probablemente a lo mejor no estamos usando nosotros y lo podamos implementar, pero la directora mencionó en cómo es que sí tienen las reuniones de directores, pero parece que nadie está haciendo mucho más. Nosotros como la Escuela Villa es que es los que estamos proporcionando más intervenciones que las otras escuelas fundamentales.
Ok, bueno, pues vamos a agarrar esa oportunidad entonces.
And if I can add, I think when we're thinking of adding funds to any program or any service, the main thing is how do we make sure that kids take advantage of those programs or take advantage of those services, even if it's virtual or if it's in person. I think I'm not against it. I just want to make sure that we send out the right information either to parents or students so they can take advantage of what's already in place and whatever you guys decide do you think it's going to help our students? Because that's the main thing. Y lo que estaba mencionando era que no estoy en contra de esto, creo que es muy beneficioso, pero lo que sí hay que cerciorarnos de cómo nuestros estudiantes se pueden beneficiar de esto, ya sea virtual, en persona, porque esa es la meta, ¿no? Que los estudiantes realmente tomen ventaja de lo que ya hay y lo que pueden traer para ellos. Entonces,
Perfecto.
Pues,
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as far as our continued conversation around what our input is when it comes to what's going to work best for our kids, how do we feel about on grounds versus online teaching? What's working, what's not working? I think it's something that a lot of folks are still dealing with right now, because as you can see, it's really difficult to do any planning if you don't know what the delivery methodology is going to be, right? I mean, I'd like to suggest that it's fairly likely that we're going to be back on campus, but what I've been hearing, and maybe you guys know better, is that the ventilation needs to be prepped, and the classrooms need to be larger sizes or something to that effect. Whatever the matter becomes, it's really likely that we're going to continue in some way, at least, with this online learning. And to be clear, even before COVID, we were, right? I mean, we just weren't like doing it full time, right? I mean, you can ask Ms. Clay. She does her teaching on campus, right? And the kids go home and there's a second component that they can access. She puts up web links on her webpage where the kids can enrich their learning. So the idea of online learning really isn't something new. It's just that now that COVID's in place, it's become glaringly apparent that, this is, it's got its strengths, but it's got its weaknesses as well. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Entonces ahorita el director estaba mencionando, señora Corona, en cómo es de que se comprende de que cuáles son los pros y qué son los fuertes y qué son lo bajo en cuanto a enseñanza virtual y enseñanza en la escuela. Obviamente el director también comentó de que la enseñanza por línea no es nuevo. Nomás ahora ya se ve más porque es tiempo completo. No es como antes que una maestra le decía a los estudiantes que después de terminar la escuela pueden ir a la computadora para ver el segundo componente de cómo poder aprender cierta materia. Pero eso ya siempre se ha existido, pero él quiere preguntarle a todos ustedes qué ha beneficiado esto estando en línea, estar en la escuela. Incluso comentó el director en cómo es de que pues probablemente sí podamos volver, pero obviamente con limitaciones, pero no debido a que no se sabe, que hay tanta incertidumbre, es lo que causa pues no se puede establecer mucho porque no sabe cómo vamos a planear si vamos a estar en la escuela o no. Y ahí es donde entra la frustración con los maestros, los estudiantes, los papás, para poder tratar de buscar una manera que sea más eficiente para poder ayudar a los estudiantes al final, porque ese viene siendo el propósito, el enfoque principal, más que todo.
Bueno, pues está preguntando que cuál sería lo beneficioso y que eso lo han venido haciendo antes. Me imagino que sí, no lo dudo. Sería para gente de colegio, pero ahorita estamos hablando de niños. Estamos hablando de niños que no conviven con nadie, que de alguna manera se mantienen encerrados y que por más que quieran poner atención, no lo hacen. Entonces, bueno, yo estoy hablando a nivel personal, ¿verdad? Y he escuchado casos de mamás y como les vuelvo a repetir, esto ya lo he venido diciendo. Aquí las vecinas al lado escuchas cómo les gritan a los niños y pon atención y cállate y muévete y una y otras cosas. Entonces, ah, él está preguntando qué son los beneficios. Yo no creo que haya muchos, porque veo muchos niños que de alguna manera están bien frustrados en varias áreas, ¿me entiendes? O sea, lastimosamente los que más los estamos afectando muchas veces somos nosotros de padres, ¿verdad? Porque a veces vivimos con muchas personas. Yo no vivo con muchas personas, pero en realidad nomás somos la familia, pero somos numerosos. Entonces, todos están en clases, todos están callados. Mi hija está trabajando en casa y a veces no puedes hacer ruido de una cosa, ruido del otro. O sea, es como un poquito como sí frustrante, como nada como que estás tú en tu clase, se termina el tiempo de la clase, agarran un break y se van. Entonces, yo me meto a lo que es la realidad. Yo digo, no, pues para mí mejor, están en la casa, mira, según yo, ¿no? O sea, ahora claro que sí, tengo que hacer más trabajo, tengo que ser más responsable, pero también que tengo que ser realista. Los niños, de alguna manera, ellos ocupan estar interactuando con gente, o sea, con sus mismos compañeritos de edad. Quizá dije mucho, no sé si me lo puedas explicar, disculpa.
No problema. So Ms. Corona is mentioning that this whole situation, the with the pros and the cons, is that this whole thing, well, it really affects the students because it's more of a in the college level type of, you know, this whole thing that's happening. But she sees that there really isn't a lot of pros being online full time, because she just sees so much frustration, not just with the student, not just with the parents, but the ones affected most are the students, because there is no, they need that physical interaction with their peers. And that's what she's saying. And she's saying it obviously on a personal level because she sees her kids. But that's one of the biggest things that she sees, that there really isn't much pros with this whole online learning.
So is it safe to say, with that said, is it safe to say that we should continue to design the program for in-person extended school year? And if we are forced to stay remote, we can't come back in person in June, then we just put that program aside until we have permission to come back.
Entonces la directora está mencionando, ustedes concuerdan o deciden que ahorita pueden ya empezar a planificar para extender ese año de escuela, y es que se van a presentar físicamente, pero en caso de que no lo apruebe el distrito, ponerlo al lado y buscar otra alternativa. ¿Qué es lo que ustedes piensan?
So for me, I feel like if we're only doing the summer school or extended year in person, and we're gonna put that aside, if we are virtual, we do have to come up with a plan and still have something in place, I think, for those students that are at risk. I wouldn't want to just not do anything because we're virtual. Does that make sense? So if we could just find another alternative. I definitely think we do need the intervention. And I mean, for the pros, I love that I'm here with the kids all day. I'm very fortunate to be working from home, so I'm able to be with them. I know that's not the case with all the moms, so I think that's an added stress for sure in the household. I feel that another pro is I don't have to worry about transportation now that the school is farther from my home, and I do work full time. So for me, it's been good. But I agree with Fabiola. For the youth, they need social interaction. Their mental health has definitely deteriorated. They need that physical, definitely presence from the teachers. And I feel like, and I don't know, Ms. Nunez or Ms. Clay could answer, I think for the teachers it's very frustrating as well. I'll look into some of like the classes and nobody has their cameras on, and it's like, as a teacher, don't you feel like you're talking to a screen? There's like, you can't even read their mannerisms or their physical. So I think it's kind of frustrating in both, I think, teacher-student dynamic, in my opinion.
Excellent point, ma'am. I appreciate that. Any other conversation points or any other exchanges, thoughts, observations?
¿Alguna observación, otra duda, algo que quisieran mencionar?
Yeah, to Ms. Fabiola's point, I'm also here at my house and I'm just happy to be with my kids too. But the reality check is that I was in a session with the superintendent, and some of the high school students were giving out feedback of what they think about virtual learning. And it was heartbreaking because some of them, they have to take care of their siblings and they still need to worry about their work. So I'm sure there are some students at Villa, they still, they have those type of responsibilities. And even though they want to have their camera on, some of them, they're teenagers, so they are aware of their surroundings, and there's some teenagers that probably they just don't want to have the camera. So I think these are hard times. It's a pandemic, and it's showing us how inequalities are in place. But at this point, I just want to say thank you for the teachers that are doing their best to help the students. And I want to say thank you if you're thinking about how to support those students that we don't know what they're going through in their homes, but you're thinking about them, and hopefully with vaccination, I don't know if the teachers are already getting yours, but the point is, I think we just need to have a little empathy about toward students, toward teachers, parents. I think all of us are in a difficult place, in a difficult time, and especially in Santana, that we're the city number 4th overpopulated in the states. So many things around. But I just want to say thank you. It's hard for me because most of the time I'm just trying to. I want things right, and I want to advocate for everybody. But at the end of the day, we're surviving, we're thriving, and hopefully, okay, better times are gonna come, and we just need to be ready. So I will support any decision that you guys think it's best for our students, but just thinking of the type of students that we're serving. So that way, everybody, it's on the right place. At least, let's try to do the best we can to serve those students' needs. Ay, doña Fabi. Nada más quería comentar que pues son tiempos muy difíciles, y la verdad, haciendo eco a lo que usted decía, de también, así como Angie, creo que tengo el privilegio de estar en casa. Y para mí pues es muy agradable, pero también sé que la realidad allá afuera es otra. Y al escuchar en una reunión con el superintendente donde jóvenes compartían de sus experiencias en el área virtual, era de que algunos de ellos hasta tienen que cuidar a sus hermanitos, tienen que poner atención a sus clases, y pensando en Villa, que hay adolescentes que ya se dan cuenta de lo que está a su alrededor y que tal vez por pena, por lo que sea, no quieren poner su cámara. También se entiende, y también sabemos que hay estudiantes que por lo mismo toman ventaja y no ponen su cámara, pero sabemos que son tiempos difíciles donde creo que en este momento ya estamos sobreviviendo. Santa Ana es la ciudad número 4 más densa de todo el país, entonces creo que son tiempos difíciles para maestros, para padres, para personal administrativo, y lo único que quiero decir es gracias, porque quiero pensar que todos tienen la mentalidad de que van a hacer lo mejor para servir a nuestros estudiantes, que van a pensar en qué programas pueden ayudar a esos estudiantes que tal vez no están al día en todo lo que tienen que estar, pero pensando en un poquito de empatía, porque sí son tiempos difíciles y ahorita sí ya no hay para dónde darle, pues. Entonces, que nada más quería decir eso y pues gracias. Muchas veces yo soy la primera que quiero esto, que háganlo así y hagan lo correcto y abogando por lo mejor, pero creo que en esos momentos ya sobrevivir creo que ya es bastante. Entonces,
Yo sí, tiene, gracias Idalia, y la verdad tiene mucha razón y es cierto también que yo en lo personal estoy súper agradecida con los maestros ahí. No quiero decir quién, pero uno de los maestros le trajeron a mi hijo algo que él necesitaba para una clase. Entonces, para mí eso es sumamente muy importante. Entonces, yo soy de las personas que no soy como la voz del pueblo, ¿no? O sea, dicen que si agua traes, porque el ruido tiene, que no sé qué, no, o sea, nada como que tú lo vivas, nada como que tú te incluyas en la escuela, nada como que tú participes en la escuela. Entonces, yo también, de verdad, para mí, el 10 de mayo es el 10 de los maestros, porque en realidad hacen mucho trabajo. Y dijiste, es una parte muy clave y muy fundamental. Muchos niños están cuidando a niños, muchos niños están haciéndose responsables de papás que desafortunadamente, no voy a decir son irresponsables, en su ignorancia no se dan cuenta que dicen que hacen crecer a las personas. No, eso no es hacerlas crecer, es hacerles que tú dices lo tienen, no, porque ellos, la prioridad ahorita es que ellos vayan bien en la escuela, que hagan sus tareas, que cumplan, porque todo es poco a poquito, pero pues nuestra cultura y desafortunadamente la tenemos o que no la podemos cambiar, sino simplemente podemos hacer algo diferente nada más. Igual, la prioridad es qué podemos hacer por los estudiantes. Sí, vámonos con lo que tenemos. Estoy de acuerdo. Es todo.
All what they said was they're very thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Muchas gracias. That's the giant summary. They're very thankful for all the teachers, for all their hard work, for everything that they're doing. They know that it's a struggle, but obviously they're realistic about the situation, that it's just not right that kids are taking care of kids. It's like that's the hard part. But then, you know, it's really appreciated with certain teachers that go above and beyond and go to their houses to go drop off something that the kid needs for their work, for their homework. And that's truly, really appreciated. And they just want to give that big thank you for our teachers.
Beautiful. Very appreciated. So maybe at this point, let Dr. Skidda, did you have a comment or no? Maybe we can move to Ms. Gomez.
I just wanted to add, just listening to everybody talk, I think that I understand. So if we stay remote and we can't see kids in person until, let's say, August, till next school year, then maybe the benefit we're looking for in providing extended school year virtually isn't through academics, but through the social emotional piece. And so maybe we can develop an extended school year that maybe takes us all the way through the summer. And instead of Monday through Friday, it's 3 days a week, but it's continuing to check in with students and provide social emotional support to get us through the 10 weeks of summer. And then go back to tackling academics when we come back.
Entonces, lo que acaba de mencionar la directora es en cómo es de que en vez de enfocarse tanto en lo académico, también darle ese apoyo emocional que los estudiantes necesitan, porque a lo que ella ve dice que es algo muy importante, porque es una espera de 10 semanas de vacación, entonces más aislamiento va a haber. Entonces eso es lo que ella quiere hacer, que probablemente sería lo más mejor, lo más beneficioso, mirarlo de esa manera, entrar de esa manera y luego ya más adelante enfocarse en lo académico, porque eso es lo que van a estar los muchachos.
I have a question. In junior high, do you guys have learning labs like they do in elementary school? Mi pregunta es si en la intermedia, en la villa, que si tienen learning labs, porque en la escuela elementaria los niños que son más a riesgo van en persona, ciertos niños, pero no sé si Villa ya tiene eso.
Yes. Villa is at the last phase of opening learning labs, so we never initially opened.
All right, Dr. E, it's jamming.
That was exciting. Anyway, VIA never got a chance to open ours because then they were shut down. So we're at the end of the line first. All the other schools are reopening, and then we will finally open ours. We're hearing March.
So that's another question. Have you guys heard of when you're coming back? Because tentatively Anaheim says end of March for hybrid learning. Has Santa Ana Unified said anything?
No, not yet. Do you want to interpret, Jaime?
I'm like, oh, sí. My mind is like jambling, it's just so jumbled. Ahorita la señora Gómez acaba de comentar de que si ha escuchado de que si se va a abrir la escuela. Pero aparte de eso, antes de eso, está preguntando, I think you said Ms. Gómez about the learning labs.
Yeah, so sí, ya le había dicho a la señora Corona, y lo que dijo la señora Siqueira es que sí ellos están planeando en abrir en persona para los que son más a riesgo, como en las elementarias que tienen Learning Labs, pero que cuando ellos iban a abrirlo es cuando se cerró todo otra vez, y que ahorita van a abrir otra vez, también parece que dijo que en marzo.
Thank you, Ms. Gómez.
Well, this is from a good source. Cases are going down, but we haven't heard anything from the district, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But good news, cases are going down.
Yes. So I think I got enough information for now, Dr. A. Thank you for giving me so much time. I think that I will probably meet with our team and some teachers and come up with maybe a skeleton plan for offering social emotional extended school year through the summer. And then hopefully by next month can present something to this committee and we can look at it together.
Entonces, señora Corona, ahorita lo que va a hacer la directora va a hacer los arreglos para hacer una junta con los otros, con los otros directores, pero también con los otros maestros para crear un esqueleto, básicamente, para poder ver qué se le puede dar a los estudiantes para ayudarlos emocionalmente en esos cuatro semanas después que termine la escuela. Y luego así, después, cuando ya se haya formado algo, presentarlo aquí al consejo.
Thank you, sir. So before we adjourn, Ms. Gomez, do you mind giving us an update on our last DLAC meeting, please?
Yeah, let me copy paste it, and I met with Isaac, so I'm hoping that you're able to access my notes. If not, we'll just have to send it. So I'll put it in the chat just so you can read along. Okay, hopefully it doesn't ask for extra access, but we met on February 8th for the DAC-DLAC meeting, started with the Pledge of Allegiance, norms, reviewed minutes. Dr. Garcia presented on the importance of multilingual education, which was really I thought a really good presentation. Basically, there's a proposition that says if a certain amount of parents want a multilingual education and they submit that request to the district, then the district has to comply with what their parents are wanting, which I think is really cool. Then we also got presented Common Sense Media. There is a Common Sense Parenting, but it's a Common Sense Media where it is an app that kind of helps parents navigate social media and put restrictions or find out if even the app is age appropriate for the kids. So I know a lot of parents, we don't know about the newest apps or trends if they're appropriate, so we could go there. Dr. Chavez let the parents know that in March, they will discuss Title III funding and the distribution of funds, and that COVID vaccine will be available in some school sites. And then they also let us know about the CAC meeting coming up that's usually with parents with special needs. And they will discuss mental health at our next meeting. And the meeting ended at 5:37. Were you able to access the link this time?
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then I don't think we need to translate because Fabiola was there and so was Idalia. And Idalia one.
Okay. Yeah, VIA is one of the vaccination sites. In fact, we were hosting it today. It was beautiful. It's a thing of beauty.
Now, is that in partnership with Latino Health Access?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. So we've come to the final agenda item here. Unless there's anybody else, just as a reminder, the next meeting is March 22nd, exactly a month from today. It'll be again 3 p.m. I'll update the Zoom link for you the day of. Also, just want to remind you that if you have any agenda items that you'd like discussed, if you'd like to propose any ideas or anything, please send the item to Ms. Corona and please copy me so I can prepare and facilitate. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before we end up this
Oh,
meeting,
Rio.
I'm just wondering about kids that are going to graduate this year. I don't know if you guys are preparing something, even if it's in person or virtual, or my son still has another year. But I'm just thinking of the parents that their kids are graduating, if they're going to have, I don't know, a picture, balloons. Just something that we can discuss next time. It's not nothing.
Yeah, we are in the planning stages for our 8th grade promotion. Our district office gave us very clear guidelines to abide by just probably 2 weeks ago now. And for the intermediate schools, we've been told we can't do anything in person. We also cannot have drive-through celebrations. They're leaving that to the high schools to make the graduation more special than the promotion. But they being our district office, are providing school-specific lawn signs for every promoting 8th grader. And then the rest of the celebration is up to the schools. But we've been told it has to be virtual. So right now, it'll probably, I don't know if any of you were there last year, but it'll probably be very similar. A virtual event where we celebrate each child and we allow parents to send in messages congratulating their child. Teachers and students can do shout outs as well. I'm sorry, Jaime, I know I'm going long here. And then I'm also going to meet with our PTSA and see if possibly we can maybe put together like a graduation or promotion. Sorry, I'm not allowed to use for graduation. A promotion slash sending you off to high school like kit, like supplies or something. So we are working on some things to make it special, but those are the parameters we've been given to work with.
Entonces, básicamente, lo que sí ya están planeando, pero sí han recibido información del distrito de que lo tienen que hacer de forma virtual. En cuanto así como hacían que estaban pasando los carros, eso es algo que se va a hacer solamente con las secundarias, las high schools, pero hasta este momento las secundarias, las junior highs van a nomás hacerlo por manera virtual. Parece que van a hacer arreglos en cómo es que mandaban mensajes para sus estudiantes, pero también lo que parece que quieren hacer para hacerlo un poco especial, detallado, hacerle un regalito para darle la bienvenida a la high school con un kit, así como con cosas que vayan a necesitar probablemente para el siguiente año en el 9º cuando empiecen la escuela, en la high school.
All right. Just asking if there's anybody who has a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
I can motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gomez. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Cicada. Second is please raise your hand if you agree. Yes. Yes. Great. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you all March 22nd. Have a great evening. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye.